Hello and welcome back to Invictus Racing Leagues. Today we're at Abu Dhabi, as you can see in the background, for round 5 of the championship. After China, really want to bounce back after the drive-through we had in the last race. I'll put the standings up on screen now so you can see where we are. I'm pretty sure we're second in the championship, but a good fair few points behind. Yeah, this was more of a straightforward 3 runs in qualifying sort of session. This is our first run now. As you can see, we completely butcher up the end of the lap, and that is invalidated, which is slightly annoying. Second run now. This was our fastest lap of the weekend because we, as you'll see, well, you won't see actually, because it was completely awful the last run. Turn 1 was really good on this lap. You can see again like a 10th on my invalidated banker time. I'm pretty sure the first sector was a 16.6, mid 16.6, which is really good. Again, the chicane was pretty decent. We're about 2 tenths up now. This hairpin, very understeery, but again nice. 2.5 tenths up now, so this lap is looking really good. In practice, I was doing low 32, so I could do 31, 32.1, 32.2 sort of time. So we're looking anywhere, but a lowish 32 will be nice. Coming into this chicane, I messed that up slightly. I was a bit too much on the curb. I need to be wheels further to the right of that chicane, but as you can see, I lost a little bit of time. We're still 2 tenths up though, so this is still okay. Braking at the 100 metre board there. Nice rotation. Through the chicane, I lost a little bit more time. No, I didn't gain time, in fact. Accelerate on this curb, that loses you a lot of time. You don't want to be running on that curb. We've lost a bit of time again, down to less than 2 tenths of an improvement. Not enough curve on the right hand side there either. This last sort of section was okay. I think we gained a little bit of time on the exit of that corner. This corner's really fast. You've got to hook it and hope you don't invalidate on the outside. Nearly 2 tenths up now, going into the last corner. Get on the power nice and early, and it's about just under 2 tenths improvement. We do go with a 32.5, so it's not a great lap at all, but it was a solid second run. But as you can see, that was all we did. We didn't manage to improve, but thankfully that was good enough for pole. Harry in P2 with a 32.6, so that was promising, and I was hoping the race pace would be quite good as we line up onto the grid now. The only thing I did do before this race was make a slight roll bar adjustment on the setup. It should, in theory, make the setup more stable, but we'll see what happens as we get ready to start the race. A win is needed, really, to get back in the championship fight with Harry. You can't let him beat you today, but we get ready for the 5 lights to come on now. 5 lights are on, and we get underway in Abu Dhabi. Changed the way I did the starts, and it seemed to work really well. So we got an amazing launch off the line there, going to the first corner without any sort of issue. Foxy Red, crucially, gets ahead of Harry into P2, and look at the gap we've got. We've nearly got a second gap already. Yeah, and someone did order a second gap, because that is the absolute dream start. 1.1 seconds we've got, 1.2. It just keeps going up as the cars behind are battling, and this was the perfect start. I just wanted to pull away now and have a nice simple race. 1.4 seconds you can see, but as you'll see in a minute, Harry gets back through on Foxy Red, which was definitely crucial for his race. He gets back up into P2 now, and the gap's about 1.4 seconds, so we're looking to not push too hard to get any penalties or anything, but to make sure that gap does not come down. But as you can see, going on to the end of lap 2 now. Going to the last section on lap 2, we go really deep into that corner, get on the curve. We almost nearly spin the car, and you'll see the gap was about 1.8 seconds. It comes straight down to 1.2. And the rhythm at this point in the race was just not great. You'll see this lap time, obviously that mistake made me lose a good half a second, but you'll see the lap time was a 37.9. To put that into context, in practice I did a 36.9 on lap 2 just before this race, so the pace wasn't great. Going to the end of into the middle of lap 3, sorry. Harry's still 1.2 behind, but this chicane just kept struggling with the traction, and now the gap's gone. Harry is in the DRS, and that is the lifeline that we got given at the start, completely gone. Gap's down to 7 tenths, and once someone's in the DRS, around a track like this, it's very difficult to knock them out of it. I don't know what it was. It was very different to practice. I was just, you can see him running wide everywhere. Didn't really have much grip on these softs. I was thinking it might have been them overheating, but as you'll see when we go into the second stint, I don't think it's much better. But we put on the end of lap 6 for a set of medium tyres. Harry continues on. The strategy is that I was going to go for a soft medium, pitting, as you can see, lap 6, and then pitting again sort of around lap 17 sort of time. I thought the medium option was better considering how much I was struggling on the softs. But we'll see where we join now. I think we've got a fair bit of clean air just behind our teammate, so we can push on this out lap. Again, a fair amount of DRS as well. I'm just hoping we can break the DRS again on the out lap, and then hopefully our pace on the medium tyres is a bit better, and Harry doesn't end up catching us back up again. We do a purple last sector, coming on to the start lap 8 now. Harry's in the pit lane, so we've had our 1 lap undercut. We'll see what sort of gap we've got. We're definitely ahead, and you can see, look behind, Harry's still in the pit lane. We've got a huge gap from that undercut, 2.9 seconds, which is, I'm not sure if Harry made a mistake on that lap, but that is a crazy undercut to gain. So we've got another lifeline now, another 3-second gap to not allow Harry to catch us back up, and hopefully our pace on the mediums is good. But skip on to the end of that lap, we've got a teammate log shot in front of us who we really need to clear. As you can see, the gap's already coming down because we're stuck. The gap's 2.4 now to Harry. We're just sort of stuck on the back of log shotter now. We really need to get through in this middle sector, but I don't think there's going to be anywhere we can get through until the straight. And as you can see, all the way through these corners, the gap to Harry is just coming down, coming down. We really need to get through here, and the fresher tyres give you a big advantage through corners like this, such as the chicane. And you can see how much we gain on log shots. We just can't get close enough. We just sat behind waiting for the straight. The gap's down to 2 seconds to Harry, 1.8 seconds. We do get onto the straight using the overtake mode. To be fair, in fairness, I don't think he made it so easy because he used a bit of overtake himself, but we do get through. And the gap to Harry, not 1.8 seconds. So that advantage we got from the undercut has been halved in 1 lap being stuck in the traffic. I was hoping here that log shotter can keep Harry behind on this straight, but as you'll be able to see, I don't think you won't be able to see, but Harry got through instantly. And once again, more traffic in a bad part of the track. We're just losing time. Gap to Harry 1 second now, 9 tenths. So he's got back in the DRS of the McLaren. We get past the McLaren, and we're just hoping that Harry can get stuck behind this McLaren again. I was thinking this McLaren's pretty close. I can give him DRS down the second straight, and hopefully Harry can stay behind. But as you'll see in a minute, I'm pretty sure that was not the case, which Harry makes quite easy work of the McLaren. And after he does this, because he's got the DRS, he'll be back within the DRS range of me. So that undercut advantage is really gone, but to be completely honest, I think he might have caught the gap anyway, as you'll be able to see when we skip after this lap, after Harry's got past the McLaren. We skip on to lap 13 now. Harry is within 4 attempts, and in fairness, at this point of the race, he was definitely not quicker. Notice how I talked about the setup changes. He goes up the inside now, which I wasn't expecting him to do at this corner. We try and go a little bit of a switchback sort of move, but we just can't get any traction. And we put it into overtake to see if we can get back past, but we're just not close enough. As I was saying, talking about on the formation lap about the setup change made to the roll bars, that in theory should have made it more stable, but I can tell you in this race the car was very unpredictable, very unstable, and I'd like to say that was the setup's fault. As we go on to lap 17, Harry had pulled nearly a 3-second gap on me, but we both put on the same lap. But yeah, as I was saying, the setup really wasn't working for me, but you know, we've got to deal with what we've got now. There's nothing we can do about it. And we came into the pit lane, I was thinking, right, we've got 10 laps left. This is a reset. Let's see what we can do in the final 10 laps. It's going to be difficult looking at Harry's pace compared to ours, but we've got about a 3-second gap to see if we can somehow close up or force him into a mistake or him to get a penalty or anything. But we come back onto the track, and it's probably worst case scenario really. Harry is just behind the second McLaren on the road, so he'll get past him on the straight really easily. But we are behind both the McLarens that are going to have DRS, and this has definitely made things much harder. It's going to be very hard to clear them this lap, particularly because we're going to catch them in the last sector, so we're going to lose quite a lot of time. We're going to the next lap, lap 19. You can see Harry's cleared both of the McLarens, but we're just stuck, and we really need to get through as quickly as possible. One of the McLarens hits the other one, and it sort of unsettles the car. I ended up hitting the first McLaren slightly, but we do get through, thankfully. I put it out of overtake mode once I got through, and he kept it. So I thought he was going to try and re-overtake me, but thankfully he didn't. And now, with these fresh tyres, it should be fairly easy to get past the second McLaren here down this straight. Trying to get on the power nice and early. It's a very difficult traction zone that. Into overtake mode, DRS, and it should be a fairly nice move around the outside, sorry, to keep the race in line. Back up into P2. And we have a 2.4 second gap to Harry, the leader of the race. And we'll see the next few laps, the gap. We do the fastest lap on lap 20. The gap's down to 2 seconds. Gap down to 1.8 on lap 22. Start at lap 23, but 1.7 second gap. 1 second gap now onto lap 24. And again 1 second gap on 25, so we're teetering on the very edge of DRS, but we're pushing so hard, and we did get in the DRS. And on come the last lap now, it's all or nothing. We're half a second behind coming into this last lap of the Grand Prix. Can we make any inroads on Harry? Can we force him into an error, a penalty, anything we can just try and get back into the lead of this race? Going down the chicane for the crucial straight, we'd lose the rear end, and that could be costly. The gap's gone up to 8 tenths again. 6 tenths as we come around the hairpin, up to 7, up to 8. We put the overtake mode. I'm going to drain most of our battery here to try and get as close as we can down this straight. Down to 20% battery, so trying to save a slight bit for the second straight, because we're gaining really late on the brakes. Gaining a lot on Harry there. Slightly deep, which is going to compromise our exit. Trying to get the traction down as hard as possible. It's such a struggle on the old tyres now. Half a second gap to Harry. Put it into overtake. All the way down to the end of the straight. Can we get close enough to make a move? No, we can't. It's a personal best middle sector, so we're really pushing this last lap. The gap is basically nothing to Harry. We're pushing him around this last sector, but this last sector, there's nowhere to get past. And it's going to be really difficult now to try and make a move. 3 tenths gap going into this last sector. Can we get Harry into a mistake? You can see the light on the back of the Williams flashing, which means he's got no deployment, but we're pushing him. The only other opportunistic move we can make now will be in the last corner. We fling it into the second last corner. Can we do anything? We're not close enough, and we're not going to manage to make the move, and I think Harry is going to take the win today, and it's going to be P2 because he didn't have a penalty either. And that was a tough race come the end there. Pushed as hard as I possibly could. But, you know, in fairness, Harry had really good pace, and I don't think I could do much more to unsettle him or try and get the lead back. But unfortunately, it's going to be P2 and more points lost at the top of the championship. I think if I was to blame it on one thing, I think ultimately I didn't drive amazingly in the race, but ultimately, again, that setup change, I'll know to never make a setup change, no matter what I think it's going to do to just before the race. But it is how he wins. We're comfortably ahead of everyone else, so I think the gap's gone up to about 15 points in the championship now, which is coincidentally the same gap as the points for a win. So one bad race for Harry, we're definitely still in it, but if Harry keeps performing well, it's going to be difficult for us to catch up now. But we'll see what we can do in the next race. The next race is Monaco as well. So Monaco, all about the qualifying. We'll have to see what we can do there. Pole position in qualifying is going to be absolutely crucial. So we'll see what we can do then. But until then, in a week's time, I'll see you next time for Monaco.